you know, the complexity of what you're looking for is, you know, it's in the question, okay? And it's so difficult to give you a soundbite on what it is that really to crystallize anything, other than the fact that we have to lead by example, period. I mean, every single person in here has to lead by example. So think about it. Stop telling people or asking, lead by example. You know, take your own bag to the grocery store, you know. You're walking down the street, you see a piece of paper on the ground, pick it up and throw it in a trash can, you know, and don't even say that. I go hiking every day. That's my exercise. I go up into the mountains. And every day I take a little bag with me that I fill up with stuff, cigarette butts, and I can't tell you, I'm hiking up little old trails, and I'm finding, you know, stuff that you are amazed that you find this stuff on the ground. Who would go up there with that stuff and then throw it, you know? I'm talking about crazy stuff, but it doesn't matter. You lead by your own life. You do it. You become conscious of it. You watch what you eat, you watch what you think, and you watch what you do. And just live your life that way, you know? That's, to crystallize it, that would be the only thing I could suggest. Because, I mean, everything else takes, you know, a mass unification of the human species, which is about to happen. It will happen. It's going to happen here with a catastrophic event, the largest catastrophic event that is going to hit this planet and that has hit humanity is coming. And it's coming every day we get closer, closer. And that's the San Andreas Fault. And it's going to slip. It's going to happen like I'm sitting here, like the sun came up, like, you know, it's going to slip. It's going to move. And they've already said what the situation is. 6,000 miles an hour from Baja all the way up to Vancouver. It'll take 4.5 minutes for that crack to exist from there and crack all the way up. 4.5 minutes. Okay? Now, the Northridge slip was 11 seconds. It was a crack of 11 seconds that sent out a shockwave that lasted 43 seconds. So 11 seconds generated 43 seconds worth of movement on the ground, you know, for miles around. And I mean, I was in San Diego and I felt it. Boom, I said, wow, someplace got hit hard. And it was Northridge. My house is in Encino. So I mean, I was less than a mile away from the epicenter. I wasn't there that day, but my family was. Now, what will 4.5 minutes of movement cause? About 27 minutes of constant movement on the ground. Continuous. Now, just lightly go like this for 1 minute. And then now multiply that for 27. Just do that for 27 minutes. And you're going to realize what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you know, things falling. That's going to happen too. I'm just talking about the physicalness of the post-traumatic stress disorder that you're all going to go through. What is it getting towards? We have to be prepared and understand that the unification, if the unification of us as people comes through catastrophe, and that's the only way that it happens, we're in a lot of trouble. And we are. We're dead wrong right now. Because we all know it. I begged the cities, you know, put one container, 40-foot container on every square block. Fill it with shovels, blankets, food, all this stuff. Put it right there, right on the corner. And everybody that drives by there every day and says, oh, what an eyesore, realizes that that's there for one reason. When that thing hits, that block has that prepared for them. Each block would have one. It would cost billions of dollars. They said, it's too much. We couldn't do that for the whole country. I mean, for the state. I said, do you have any idea what this is going to be all about? Can you fathom? Not one roadway will be usable. Not one. There will be no roadways in California that you will be able to use after 27 minutes of movement. This is not me talking. This was the head of there was a Congress, a great convention that was held here on January 5th, 6th, and on the 7th, they discussed it. And, no, excuse me, on the 9th. It was the 7th, 8th, and 9th, on the 9th, January 9th of 2007 was the 150th anniversary of the last time it moved. Okay? 150 years before that, on the exact day of January, okay, 9th, it moved. 150 years before that, the last time it moved on the exact same day. So twice it moved on the exact same day, 150 years later. On the 150th anniversary, seismologists from all over the world came here and they met at USC. They met there to bring awareness of what was going to happen. And the woman stood up that gave the seminar on the day. She says to the press, there must have been 500 press people. She says, when this happens, not if, but when this happens, this is what it's going to be like. And then she went ahead and she told, there's 6,000 miles an hour, 4.5 minutes, the amount of movement, and that no roadways, no buildings, nothing will be left standing. Nothing. And I'm talking about both sides of the fault line. So you're talking about all of California on both sides of that fault line. You're talking about Oregon, both sides of that fault line. You're talking about Washington, both sides of that fault line. It's going to be hauling ass all the way up, 6,000 miles an hour. And then we're going to, for 27, the big one. You know how we always say, oh, this could be the big one. Well, it's coming. And we are not prepared for it. And the sadness is that it's going to take that for this country to get organized and unified. And who knows? They said it's going to take, she said that it would take 9 months to 1 year to get water back. Electricity, about the same amount of time. What's happening right now in the East? They've been without power for 3 weeks, and everybody's going, oh my God. Well, this is going to be years before they got power back up. So you figure it out. We live in California. What are you doing to prepare for your family and yourself? Because people have asked me, Eddie, you know this. Why do you live there? Richter left. Richter left. He left when 119 people were, 127 people were killed in the desert. He left after 1972. Is when he left. That happened. He says, I'm out of here. I created the machine. I'll leave the machine. I'm out of here. And he left. I got to tell you, I don't know what else to say other than lead by example. Prepare yourself. People have asked me, why do you stay there, Eddie? Because my whole family's here. My mother, my grandchildren, all my kids, all my cousins, all my nephews, all nieces. Everybody lives here. What do? Do I move myself out of here and leave them here and then come back and go, oh my God, I don't think I'd take it. I'd rather stay here. If I live, then I'll go around and try to help everywhere I can. And you guys should all know that. You should all have a number that you call that's outside of this region, like someplace across, the other side of Colorado. Have some number that you and your family all know where to call after the big one hits, if we can use phone lines. That's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. But I'll leave it at that and just say to you, again, thank you very much for having me here. Bless your hearts for the filmmaking that you guys are making 1,000 times over. And again, I'm sorry if it's gloom and doom, but it's also, the question was asked of me, what can we do? It's crystallizing. Lead by example. Start preparing for the earthquake in your own home so that your children, and everybody can see you and say, wow. Because if